Tanya, and I wanted to share a project with you which is heavily influenced by two people that I admire very much. One is Arit and the other is Courtney Diaz. I am part of Courtney's Patreon, and she puts together these, I suppose it is a junk journal, and Arit's been doing a lot of travelers notebooks, so yeah, I am jumping on that bandwagon. I have done it before, but I thought I would share with you one that is very Alice in Wonderland. As you can see here, I was showing you there, that was a colouring in book that I found at a sale, and I did purchase some printables off Etsy that are really, really cute. I will leave a link below to the shop where I got them. They were discounted heavily, so that was useful too. And some are tags, some are journaling spots like I just showed you, and then some are just these little squares, and then I have, I think they're like 2 by 3 maybe, not quite sure the dimensions. Anyway, you print them out and you cut them up and it's all good. I did print them on fairly thick paper. I bought some it's 160 grams, not sure what that is in the other measurement, but it's reasonably thick. They're not as brightly colored as I was hoping they were going to be, but I suspect that's my printer, because and I was just showing you and you can't really see it. I apologize for my poor editing skills. This is Alice in Wonderland's Everlasting Diary, which I have shown in quite a few of my Hobonichi shares. But yeah, getting back to the printables, they're not as bright as I'd hoped they would be, but I think it's because I have some generic ink in my printer, so my printer is not entirely happy. And here, yeah, these are some pages that I actually took out of my Hobonichi because it was getting too fat, so I'm going to use those. And the idea really was to take as much of the products that I have in my stash that are Alice themed and use them. And so that's a Sticky Club. That was July, I think, of this year, June or July of this year, and I was just showing you some of the bits there that I was thinking of using. And here is what I have left over of that beautiful bento stationery box that I shared with you. I have also been sharing my little traveler's notebook that I did, where I collaged a lot. I collaged every single page, so I used a lot of the supplies up that way, and I'm just showing you here what I have left over. And most of those, in fact all of those, are envelopes that she had in the kit, and then those are the leftover papers. So I have really done that bento box proud, because I do not have much left over that I haven't used, so I'm pretty chuffed with that. So carrying on with the supplies, and yeah, that's a fancy paper clip which I battled with, so in the end I thought, stuff it. Got a clip out. I'm trying to be ever so neat. You'll see halfway through I get very, very untidy. And there's the bento box. There's the bits that I've got left over after using most of it, and it's threads and stuff, so I'm going to try and use up those. And these are Alice inspired. Well, they are Alice stamps that I got off AliExpress. I love them. They actually stamp beautifully. And we're going back to some stickers. These again came from the Sticky Club. There were some that they had on sale. I do use them, but they don't quite go with the overall theme of all my other bits and pieces, but I am using them. And yes, my washi tape, because of course I have quite a bit of Alice themed washi tape, and I love putting those in, even though I'm battling to get them off the roll, and this is sped up quite fast. So hoping I'm not boring you to death with showing you what I'm going to be using. And these are little Alice stickers that I got off Amazon Japan. And so yes, so what I have going here is I have various papers and washi tape and envelopes, and I'm now going to show you how I'm going to put it together. Originally I thought that I was going to do an A5 size, but decided no, wasn't going to do that, so I've gone with a standard traveler's notebook size. And yeah, because of the way these books are bound, you know, they've got the thread in them, I'm able to tear them apart quite easily, although it doesn't look like it, but yeah, it was reasonably easy. And I really didn't feel bad about taking apart this colouring in book, because for one thing it was really cheap. This one I did feel a little bit bad about, this beautiful book, but I feel like it's okay. I did. It did wear on my soul ever so slightly, but I figured I'm giving it a new home, and they're beautiful illustrations, and the book has a bit of water damage to it and all the rest of it, so it's okay. It's okay to do that. And I've seen a lot of people. I've been so inspired by all the people doing putting altered books together and that kind of thing, and that's why I'm jumping on the bandwagon. And I've been totally Alice obsessed. I'm not sure why. In fact, Jessica and I watched Alice Through the Looking Glass, the Tim Burton one, last night. So yeah, very, very Alice themed. And yeah, I was just going through and looking at which of these images I wanted to use, because they're obviously big, and I'm now going to put them down into sort of Traveler's Notebook size, so I didn't want to ruin a lot of the image, but I wanted to maintain the integrity of most of the image, but still get the size on. So and going, and yeah, I shan't bore you to death too much with this, hopefully. I did try and edit this in such a way that you got most of my process and thoughts behind it, but don't fall asleep. Please don't fall asleep. Oh, well, if you do, it doesn't matter. So here we go, still going through and checking to see which of these papers that I want to use, and I'm going to take the Hobonichi paper and cut it down to size, and I have a Prima Marketing notebook that I found in my stash, and I figured it's just blank paper, so I'll put that in there. And then of course I have my beautiful floral illustrations, which I'm going to include as well, and I think that's all that's the basis of my papers. And here you go. Here I'm going to split them up into the little piles and then put them together in an order. I didn't think this ahead. I did not think ahead to think to myself, oh, I want 4 pages of the flowers and I want 5 of the Alice. That I just cut up what I liked and then put it all together, and the only real thought I have is the image that I want in the middle of the book, because that is a full image, and you'll see I think about it, and I'm going to choose that one, because that's the Cheshire Cat. Who doesn't want the Cheshire Cat to be a full image? So yeah, that was the only real thought there. Otherwise, it was very randomly put together. And now I'm going to take all those bits of paper that came in the bento box that I have. I have taken out the really, really brown ones when I ordered my box, and sadly she's not doing them anymore. But when I ordered my box, I went with a pink, cream and white theme, and she did put in some sort of brown, beige pages, but I've taken those out because it's really not a not a shade that I enjoy. This does have a vintage theme to it, but I kind of like to think it's a bit brighter than vintage. So these are beautiful papers that I am now folding, cut them down to the right size and putting them in again randomly, not thinking too much about it. Just I want a variety, and I do get in other sizes, because I know the idea about, behind a junk journal is to have various sizes of paper. So that's why I'm getting these ones in now. And I actually don't put that one in, that little pretty flowery one, but I get all the others in. And yeah, so I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with this Traveler's Notebook when I'm finished with it. I was looking at some of my older ones the other day, and I came across one where I was going through an watercolor sort of art journal phase, and I had decorated the pages really quite prettily, and I started writing stories, not not epic novels, but I was writing little anecdotes about things that had happened in my life, but I was making them into stories. And I only have 2, but I thought they were actually not bad, so I'm thinking maybe I could do that with this one, because Alice is who doesn't love Alice in Wonderland, and it's fantasy and it's all of that. And yeah, so I think maybe that could be something that I could do, take the weird things that happen in my life, because, well, my life tends to be a soap opera sometimes, and other times it's just, I do stupid things. So I'm thinking maybe I could use this Traveler's Notebook for that, because there is, even by the time I've finished with it, and I am heavily decorating it with all my Alice-inspired stuff, there is still going to be a lot of writing, journaling space in it. So, you know, it's not like it's just going to be one sort of picture book. It's not a picture book. It's going to have journaling space and pockets and things. This is what I'm putting in now, is these envelopes. So they will be like pockets. And yes, I'm thinking that might be a nice idea. And yes, I remembered that I had my Alice diary that I wanted to put in some of those papers, so I'm putting those in as well. And I keep checking to make sure. And it's really quite a chunky journal. And yes, I made a bit of a blups with this actually. And my gosh, just sewing this thing together was it was quite a feat, I must say. I sweated. Because it's so thick. And the problem was I had that first little bit, because I split it apart to make the holes. The first one I had an idea of where the holes were, and then for the rest of it I did the holes in a completely different spot. So that was a bit daft, and we're actually coming to the end now, so I'm going to show you my full thing. But yeah, the putting it together was interesting. It definitely was a very, very good workout. But I'm quite pleased with how it's turned out. And in part 2, you're going to see that I start to decorate it with a lot of the bits and pieces that I showed you in the beginning. So that's also been a lot of fun. And gosh, I really do hope you enjoyed this. It's quite a long video, and yeah, it's not rocket science what I've done, but I did enjoy putting it together, and I really hope you've enjoyed watching it. And yeah, look out for part 2, because that's equally as fun, because that's when I start to decorate. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and pop me a comment below if you want any information or just want to say hi. I appreciate any of those comments. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic day, and yeah, let's chat again soon sometime. Bye bye.